Hello, folks. Welcome back to Reality Check with Arvind Swaminathan. I know I promised cricket, but well, I thought no tie. How's that? Not cricket, is it? No. Okay, anyway, let's get serious now. You remember about a year ago I came out with something on the Waqf Act. Yes, just about a year ago. And its implications on our lives in India, what it's doing to us. Most of you didn't care. Some saw it, but no action taken. You still vote for the people who did this to us. Now let's see the effect. Not just the Waqf Act, but Jawaharlal Nehru's monstrous acts which he put into Parliament and into the Constitution. One, you are permitted to learn Islam and Christianity anywhere, but you are not permitted to learn about Hinduism anywhere. You see, one after effect of that, his own great-grandson knows nothing about Hinduism, and yet he talks about it. He comes out with, what is Bharat Mata? He doesn't understand even the basics of this country. Let's go back a little further to the times of Chanakya. Where was he around? Chandragupta Maurya's in that time? Now when one of those kings was about to marry a foreign girl, a Greek girl, he said, there are three conditions. I'll tell you about two of them. One, she should never interfere in the affairs of state because she has no idea, no empathy with the people here. She doesn't know what people aspire to, how we think, how we conduct our lives. She should not be permitted to interfere. Two, her children must never sit on the throne here. They still would think in foreign terms, not about the welfare of the people of this land. How true then? How true even today? I'm talking about the Congress party and the people who run it, especially that family. What do they know about this country? Nothing. Do they even care about this country? No. They're too busy looting it. And when they're not doing that, they're converting it to Islamic or Christianity. Not true? Okay. Let's see. Your friend, not mine, obviously, says, what is Bharat Mata? He doesn't know what Bharat Mata is. And yet he chants Bharat Mata ki Jai. He talks about a country called Hindustan. Where is it? Does it exist? No. The country we're sitting in or we're standing in is Bharat or India. So where is this Hindustan coming from? And yet he says Hindustan all the time. Why? That's how much he knows about where he sits or where he's trying to be Prime Minister. A silly clot who knows nothing wants to be the top dog. Okay, what is Bharat Mata? Anybody know? Quite a few people I've come across don't know. Let me explain. You've heard this controversy about the Ram Temple or Ram Mandir. Who is it in honor of? Lord Ram. But of course that family doesn't even believe that he ever existed. However, we as Hindus do. Who was Ram's wife? Sita? Or Sita Mata? Or Sita the mother? Or Mother Sita? Where did she come from? Her father was advised to plough one of his fields, which he did. Now the plough hit an obstacle. They dug that up. There's a little box from which came Sita. Why was she named Sita? You know the metal bit on the end of a plough, which turns the soil over, is known as a seat. Hence the name Sita. And who was Sita's mother? Mother Earth. It's not Mother India, but the mother of the land called Bharat. That is where Sita came from. So the land you're standing on is Bharat. And that land or that soil is our Mother Earth. That same Mother which gives us space to stand, to live, to sit, to spend our lives. It is also the same soil that gives us the food we eat, the trees, the rivers. And she is, therefore, Mother Goddess, as far as we Hindus are concerned. You still want to, I hope you understand now what Bharat Mata means. But you've got to think a little, and certain leaders, do they have anything up there? Are they capable of thinking? And yet they want to be Prime Minister. Wow. Now, a little follow-up. You see, everything has been turned or geared to turning India into an Islamic country. The laws which Nehru started, first that you can't teach Hinduism anywhere, only Islam and Christianity can be taught. Next, when he was supposed to bring in a uniform civil code, he brought in only the Hindu civil code, which means Muslims don't have, they don't come under it. They own this place. The laws are only for us Hindus. Add to it something else. He then divided India on the basis of language. And these Congress monsters keep saying the BJP divides this country. Did it? No. Even today, the BJP is the only truly secular party there is. Whether you like it or not, irrelevant. It is. The only divisive party is the Congress. Now what is happening? You're trying to bring in a caste census. So you want to divide India by caste. Having already done it by language and by religion. Religion, no? What are you talking about? Remember a thing called Pakistan and on the east Bangladesh? What was that? Was that not dividing India? Or Bharat? And having given them that and separated them, why did he say you can stay here if you want, even if you're Muslim? You see the result. The same as Iran a couple of millennia ago. You remember Iran used to be a Parsi country? Zoroastrian faith? They allowed in a few Muslims. Within 30 years, all Parsis were either forcefully converted, driven out of there, or murdered. What is happening here? Yes, it's taken a little longer. There are a lot more of us than there were in Iran during those times. I've already explained some of the laws. Culminating in the Waqf Act 1995. I've already given you one dose of that. Here's the follow-up. I said, then remember, do remember this, that first they will take over our land. I know the news channels tell us they're the third largest holders of land in India, behind the railways and the services. I beg to differ. From certain quarters, we get this news. 86% of the land in India is now owned by the Waqf Board. And until recently, the only place you could contest that, it was in front of the Waqf Tribunal. 7-member bench, all Muslims. Which meant, really speaking, we already had a parallel legal system, the Sharia Act or the Sharia law. We had an Indian penal code and a Sharia law, which has taken over 86% of this country's land already. Remember what I said? It's giving the land of this country over to the Waqf Board for free, and we have to pay to live on it. Why? And all you people in the US and everywhere else keep telling us, oh, the minorities are being targeted. The Muslims are being targeted. Who said so? The Muslims have been targeting us, and we're the majority, by far. Now I said then, having taken over the land, all sorts of taxation will come in. Please note, nobody took notice. What has happened? All over the south, that means Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka, you have to have a halal certificate for everything. Not just for meat or meat products, but also for things like potato crisps or potato chips or potato bhujia, your mixtures, your savories, your sweets, you name it. You need a halal certificate for textiles, you need it for cement, just about everything. All over Kerala and probably Tamil Nadu also, you will find halal certificates on buildings, which means nobody, no Muslim will enter that building without that certificate. All that has to be paid for by the people who own those buildings, or those cement works, or the people who market all those potato chips and so on. Why? Is this an Islamic country? Then why is that certificate necessary for everybody else? I mean, the excuse, oh no, it means it's a certificate of cleanliness and good products. Who said so? You should have heard this. These same characters took a whole lot of people to court in Tamil Nadu, the High Court. And they said that all these restaurants with the halal certificate, it is a part of Islam that the chef, before he sends the plate out for service, he spits in it. And the High Court accepted this. For the next 3 days, all those restaurants were empty. Nobody went there. They took down all these signs. It's too late. We have been eating their spit for all these years. You think it's funny? Now we come to something else. In that same area, in a Muslim-dominated village, they say Hindus must not bring procession during their religious functions. What nonsense. The court threw it out, saying, look, this is a secular country, you cannot do this. Okay, now here's something else. The Places of Worship Act 1991 froze all things as they were, all your places of worship, be they mosques or temples or churches, as of August 15, 1947. So what does the Waqf Board do? They start claiming all the land on which Hindu temples stand. Even those which have been there for centuries, even millennia. How? Islam wasn't even there. It hadn't been invented yet. And yet that's supposed to belong to Waqf Board. They have to pay them rent or pay them the purchase price of that land. Come on, let's get real. And here's the best part, the Waqf Board does not have to produce any evidence that they actually own the place. It's theirs, just because they say it's theirs. As per that Waqf Act 1995. Now we get down to something else, and you see how much this country is being looted by Muslims. These same people. Who certifies and issues these halal certificates? Has any state government said you may? No. Has the center said you must? No. Is there any government body that issues these certificates? No. Then who issues them? Private parties? Or Muslim boards or Muslim parties? They collect it and not 1 rupee in taxes paid. You think it's a small amount? It has been estimated that since 1974, when all this began, they have collected something like 166 lakh crores. That means 166 into 100,000 times 10 million. Figure that one out. And they keep claiming that we, the majority, are mistreating and ill-treating and targeting Muslims? Or is it the other way around? You remember I said that levy all these taxes. Either that or get out. Or convert. Evidence? Now, if so much money is collected, estimates this year alone, I believe, about 60,000 crores. What they collect in 1 year would have paid for the whole Rafale deal. Think about that. Think about the looting the Congress has let us in for. And we have to keep paying for this. Now you understand where so much of this rampant inflation comes from. Not from the BJP government, but from policies past and present of the UPA and the Congress governments and these Muslim boards. No wonder people like Owaisi says, take the police away for half an hour and you see what us Muslims can do to you Hindus. And now his son starts telling the police, I'll give one signal in 5 minutes you police will be running for your lives. What cheek is that? And they're allowed to get away with it? People behead tailors in Rajasthan and nothing happens? They're a law unto themselves. They can do whatever they like. Rajasthan Dalit girls are raped, gang raped, murdered. Nothing happens. Why? Why are these rapists protected? You remember the Ajmer files? I call it the desecration of Hindu girls, ruining their lives. And who does it? The people who ran the dargah, the holy shrine in Ajmer. There's the people behind this, according to that movie, the Ajmer Files. And only one complaint because of fear. And they claim that we, the majority, are targeting them. What about love jihad? Blackmailing women, murdering them. Nothing happens. They go on doing whatever they please. Wake up, Hindus, wake up. Now you see what's happened in Karnataka. A Congress government comes in, hijab is back in fashion. You go to Telangana, Hindu girls have to take off their bangles, even their Mangal Sutra, which means their wedding rings, before they go into a public service examination hall. But Muslims can go in wearing a burqa and a hijab. And Muslims are being targeted. Let's get a few things straight. That Waqf Act and that Places of Worship Act has to be scrapped forthwith. Whatever they have taken has to be returned. Interest for the period of time that it has been usurped has to be paid to those rightful owners, the previous owners. And in future, no land is to be handed over to the Waqf board without full evidence from both sides being examined. Not by the Waqf tribunal, but by a Hindu or Indian civil court, the High Court or the Supreme Court, not by the Waqf tribunal. Because you know what they're going to do. That court is so one-sided, there's no other alternative. Might as well hand it over and stop wasting your time. You see that Waqf Act? And this monster, Rahul Gandhi, says democracy is in danger. From whom? From unthinking idiots like himself, who know nothing, and yet they want to be Prime Minister. Come on. What are your alternatives? Rahul Gandhi, who keeps saying it can't be done here. We're no good, which is what the British tried instilling into our minds. If you're Indian, you're incapable of doing anything. You're no damn good. Nehru did the same thing. I wrote about this in 1970. And people, it shook the whole Ford Foundation by its very foundation. How did this idiot get to know this? I said, it needs a little common sense. If you think about it, far enough ahead and backwards, you will understand it. But people don't. And what did Nehru do? Enforce even more deeply what the British had been trying to tell us. And this great-grandson of Nehru is doing exactly the same thing. We can't do anything. It must come from outside. And the difference between this lot and Mr. Modi and his government is, Mr. Modi and his government say, yes, we can. You see the understanding? No, we can't. We're no good. Yes, we can do it. We know what we're doing. We're not idiots. As the people from the West keep trying to tell us, we are not idiots. We can do it. And the best part is, we are doing it. Now, not only did Nehru divide us according to religion, Pakistan, Bangladesh and India, Hindu civil code, plus he divided us into God knows how many states based on language. Now, this monstrosity is trying to divide us again on the lines of caste. Why? Because those way back, really backward people who remain uneducated because 67 years of Congress rule ensured there were no schools there. Even though on paper the money has been spent. Where did it go? In somebody's pockets. He wants them to come here and take over and be his henchmen. Nobody will question him then, which is Congress policy. If you're capable, you're weeded out and thrown out. Or, under mysterious circumstances, you end up like Mr. Rajesh Pilot and Mr. Madhav Rao Sindhya. Coincidence? Were they, how shall I put it, competitors as regards Congress leadership, who had minds of their own? Sachin Pilot is now paying the penalty for being his son. He's being sidelined. Jyotiraditya Scindia moved out of there very quickly because he knew he wasn't going to get anywhere. Pilot, on the other hand, still thinks and hopes it's not going to happen. See, wherever Congress goes, it means corruption, rotten, no government whatsoever, commissions, and everything must come from abroad. We're incapable of doing anything here. The brain drain, you name it. Anything rotten, they're involved. I'll even go as far as to suspect. You know how much money was placed on one World Cup final? About 4.5 lakh crore, all in Dubai, UAE, and so on. Who has contacts there? Congress party, remember the Mahadev app? 508 crores going to Baghel, Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Congress party. So who's behind that? Is the Congress really clean? Or is it as dirty as anything involved in that? Think about that. If you vote Congress, it means corruption. It means division. It means going backwards into the 30s and 40s and 50s rather than 2020 or 2030 and 40. Think carefully and think, do you want to go forward or do you want to go backwards? Well, I think that's enough for today. But please, think carefully. If you like, please press the like button. Subscribe. Pass it on to your friends, their groups. Ask them to pass it on to other groups. Because this is the future of India. Your children, your grandchildren, and their children. What does it mean for them? If people like this Congress party and its leadership come back into power, we are sunk as a nation. Anyway, all the best and take care. Ciao.